I am reaching out to inquire about the rating system that is incorporated into the Daemon 2.0. While this isn't a big concern by any means, I'm not one to get wrapped up in LSAT analytics like the other shitty LSAT companies out there, according to Josh. I was just wondering if you could shed some light on it. Without getting too in depth, how does it work exactly? Because I have noticed in a section like logic games, where I typically go -0 to -2, it's an 86 rating. And in LR, where from what I have on record, it swings from -3 to -9, yet is a 78 and went up the last time I got -7. This is all very confusing to me, Ben. This is where I always tell people, yeah, just ignore that. Let's talk about one LSAT question you don't understand. Is there a direct correlation, say 90, in all three ratings that predicts a certain score on a real test? And if you had to use the rating system alone as the only variable in deciding when someone is ready, what would your cutoff be? I'm assuming we would not ever do that, but I'll let you answer. Congratulations on 300 Thinking LSAT episodes, and I appreciate all that you two have done for me. Very respectively, Josh. Thanks, Josh. That's nice. Ben can respond about the whole rating system thing because I don't understand it.
Sure. So in the old Daemon, we had two numbers. We had the accuracy for drilling, so the percentage of questions that people were getting right as they drilled. And then we showed the difficulty level, which is on a scale of 1 to 5. And so as they did better in drilling, the Daemon would give them harder questions. And I mean, the old Daemon was so simplistic, but it was basically taking all the questions they ever did and just averaging the difficulty level, which meant you could never get to a difficulty level of 5 because at some point, right, you've done easier questions. And so you could never actually get a perfect score. Now, the problem with the old system was that the percentage correct, the accuracy number, people would write in about that all the time and ask, oh, my accuracy is 80%. I don't understand why I'm not doing better. And it's like, look, the accuracy number is going to stay between 70 and 80% correct, because that's what the Daemon is trying to do. It's trying to keep you at a level or at a point in your studies that's just above your skill level, right? And so it was a useless number. So we got rid of that. But the number that actually is useful in my mind is the difficulty level. Like, what is the average difficulty level of the questions you've done recently, right? Because as the Daemon gives you harder and harder questions, that difficulty level average will go up, especially if we just focus on the ones you've done recently, not the ones you've done throughout the entire history of your study. So what Daemon 2.0 does is basically reflect that difficulty level on a 0 to 100 point scale. That's it. And there are some other things that are factored into that. For example, time. So if you take a long time, you don't get as many points. And so someone who does a level 4 game in 30 minutes is not going to get as much credit as someone who does a level 4 game in 10 minutes, right? The bottom line, though, here is that these numbers, we don't know how they correlate to actual LSAT success precisely, but in my mind, it doesn't matter. In fact, if someone has over 90, they're doing extraordinarily well, because that means that the Daemon is only giving them level 5 questions and they're doing well on them. For someone to get 100, they would have to get a lot of questions that are level 5 correct in a row and not miss a single one. To me, it's not about getting to a certain number. It's just, as a lot of people have said, when they see that number go up, and it goes up based on their performance, it motivates them to do more. So
higher's better.
Higher's better. That's all it is. That's really all it is. And that's all I can tell you right now. And I do want to make sure that the numbers make sense, in the sense that, like, if you're performing 90 in logical reasoning and 70 in games, then I would also expect your section scores to somewhat reflect that, right? Like you're
Which it
going to not be
does
doing this,
here
which it does.
in
And it
Josh's
does. Yeah.
numbers. It basically does reflect it. I mean, you're getting, it says a 78 in LR where you're getting -3 to -9, and an 86 in games where you're getting -0 to -2. So yeah, you're better at games. I would like, I know I've lodged this feature request in the future. I mean, in the past, but I
Yeah.
would lodge it again. I wish we just hid this stuff. I mean, I understand that that's what the algorithm is doing, but it's so confusing to many students, including Josh. It's just like, I mean, I got a text from a tutoring student the other day saying
Yeah.
like, hey, how do I manually increase the difficulty rating? And I was like, what? No, drill. God damn it. Stop it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I feel like showing them, see, you have an analytic mind, Ben, who you can read this stuff and kind of understand what it means. And then you can take it for what it is without
Mhm.
trying to manufacture, like extrapolate it into some bigger thing.
Sure.
And we have so many students who don't think that way, and they end up by default. I mean, I'm not saying that there's something wrong with Josh's brain. It's like human nature, but Josh like immediately wants to start to extrapolate the rating system into a 120 to 180 LSAT score. And it's like,
Yeah.
that is not what this is meant to do in the slightest. Don't do that. Stop thinking about it. And yeah, I wish it was just hidden by default, but anyway, that's not to take anything
Yeah.
away from
I
what
hear
you've
you.
done with 2.0. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no, it's great. Uh, the short answer for Josh is don't worry about it. Keep drilling. The demon's going to give you stuff that's at your appropriate level of challenge difficulty. Don't think about the numbers. Think about the actual games, passages, LR questions. Focus on one question at a time. Make sure you fully understand it before you move on to the next. That's where improvement actually comes from. The metrics are, yeah, the demon's doing work. Let the demon do its work. You do your work, which is to understand the law school admission test one question at a time.